Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Gordon Frayne. We are back with another video. Today, I'm sharing my top 3 Bittensor TAO subnet gems and the undervalued subnets that I think have lots of growth potential. As always, if you enjoy the content, please make sure to smash that thumbs up button below, hit subscribe, hit that bell notification icon, and don't forget to grab your completely free copy of The Rise of Bitcoin, linked below this video in the description. Grab it now. And let's talk about subnets. Okay, so getting right into it, the first subnet that I think is extremely undervalued at this moment in time, a little bit of a hidden gem, not really within the TAO sphere, because if you're familiar with subnets already, you have probably heard about Shotz, but as a hidden gem in the crypto space in general, Shotz is currently sitting just around a $90 million market cap, and with some of the adoption that we're seeing in terms of real world growth, there is a big case to be made for real world use here with the adoption and growth that Shotz is seeing. And I was running some numbers here just last week, thinking about the valuation of Shotz compared to centralized AI competitors like OpenAI and ChatGPT. And if we jump in here just to look at a couple of data points that I was looking at last week, thinking about how to value Shotz and whether it is truly undervalued or not, we can see that Shotz has been processing more than 7.4 trillion tokens to date since its inception. This is averaging, even in the past 30 days, plus 100 billion tokens on a daily basis. And if we look at the growth and how that is accelerating for a decentralized protocol like Shotz versus centralized AI counterparties, you can see this yellow line on the chart here representing the number of tokens processed daily by Shotz and its growth trajectory over its first 4 months, and this green line giving us the projected forecast of how that should continue if Shotz does continue to actually grow in this exponential manner, which it has been doing. Again, very interestingly, the red line on the chart here represents Google Gemini and the amount of daily processed tokens that they had in their first 6 months. And you can see that Shotz technically is on pace to catch up, if not outpace, the amount of tokens being processed by Google Gemini if we project it forward for the next 5 to 10 months. So very interesting stuff happening on Shotz from an adoption standpoint. And when we actually break down the numbers, there is a pretty good case to be made that Shotz may well be significantly undervalued. As I said, 7.4 trillion tokens divided by 4.83 months in existence is equal to about 1.53 trillion tokens per month. OpenAI's most recent valuation pegged it at about a $300 billion valuation. OpenAI and ChatGPT is processing about 250 trillion tokens per month. If we divide 1.53 trillion, which Shotz is doing, by 250 trillion, that gives you a 163x multiple on how many tokens OpenAI and ChatGPT are processing compared to Shotz. But when this gets very interesting is when we actually think about dividing that $300 billion valuation for OpenAI by 163, that brings you to a 1.84 billion potential current valuation for Shotz, simply based on the number of tokens they're processing every single month, aligned and compared against OpenAI. So very interesting numbers here, because just like we saw a few minutes ago, the current market cap of Shotz is only 90 million. If we are going to see Shotz become a true decentralized competitor to other centralized counterparties, then we will see continued adoption, and we could see Shotz moving up towards that $1 billion market cap as we move through the cycle. That is a 20x multiple compared to where we're at today, 90 million into 1.84 billion. It looks like Shotz could be significantly undervalued and therefore is a hidden gem in the crypto space. Again, this is non-financial advice, guys. Always make sure to do your own research, check out the charts, check out the fundamentals for all of these different subnets. But I just wanted to make that point and do a bit of a comparative analysis for Shotz versus OpenAI based simply on adoption and token processing. And you can see if if Shotz was to be valued in a similar manner to OpenAI based on tokens processed, it should be worth somewhere in the region of 1.84 billion US dollars. I'll let you make your own mind up as we move on to the next subnet gem, which is subnet number 10, Sturdy. Again, if you're not familiar, I've covered Sturdy on the channel here a couple times already. You can see Sturdy is sitting at 0.013 TAO, or about $4.50, and a market cap of only $7.17 million, a fully diluted valuation of $95 million. But because we've only got roughly 1.5 million tokens in circulation, we're sitting at that $7.17 million valuation. And if we jump over to the Sturdy website, just to remind you, Sturdy is focusing on decentralized yield optimization. It allows anyone to create asset allocation algorithms, and the miners on this subnet are competing and constantly upgrading those algorithms and use the outputs to control millions of dollars of real assets on chain. If you read their website, it gives you an even deeper breakdown of how all the miners are essentially competing to aggregate and specify where those asset allocations can go. And depending on how those asset allocations actually perform, based on the vaults that they enter, based on the liquidity pools that they get exposure to, those miners get paid out in TAO rewards based on who performed best based on the allocation. So again, a very interesting way to try and incentivize high quality algorithms and miners to predict which liquidity pools, which vaults, and which opportunities in the DeFi space are going to yield the best rewards for people who have capital allocation to deploy in DeFi. We're seeing an incentive mechanism here that is extremely lucrative and valuable for miners who can train algorithms to hunt out asymmetric DeFi opportunities. And again, I think the DeFi space is only going to continue to grow as we move forward. We're seeing tokenization of real estate, tokenization of stocks and commodities on chain happening. And what you're going to see is Sturdy Subnet continue to grow by incentivizing miners to put forth outputs that control millions of dollars in real world assets on chain, competing against one another to get the best yield. So I'm excited to see how this evolves. Again, I do think Sturdy is undervalued at only 7 million. Again, if you think about all those undervalued gems in the crypto space in general, very few tokens you're able to get in at a $7 market cap, $7 million market cap valuation. I think there's lots of potential here. Again, not financial advice. Of course, we have seen many of the subnets underperforming against TAO over the past few weeks, but potentially a buying opportunity. Better to be buying these lows compared to these highs just a few weeks ago. Take that with a pinch of salt, do your own research, check out Sturdy and see what's going on. Finally, last but not least, is Bitcast. Bitcast is Subnet 93 in the TAO Subnet ecosystem. You can see we're currently sitting at a 0.0034 TAO price, which is equal to about $1.14. Again, this is quite a volatile asset and Subnet Alpha token. Again, you can see we've got a market cap of under $1 million. We're at $745,000 for the market cap of Bitcast. And it is very volatile, like I said, but as a very, very micro cap token with a very small market cap, I do think this is a very undervalued subnet gem in the crypto ecosystem. And of course, in the TAO ecosystem as a whole, I think there's lots of growth potential for Bitcast. They're honing in on the issue of marketing in the TAO ecosystem. Again, we know that TAO is a very powerful network as a whole, but I think one of the areas that it lacks in is when it comes to actual marketing. What Bitcast are doing is they're connecting creators and video content influencers who can actually promote certain subnets and certain marketing initiatives and connecting them with brands. And they are essentially being able to find creators to talk about their brands, to talk about their businesses and their subnets. And they're going to be expanding into other ecosystems outside of just native TAO as well. But as a marketing ecosystem and a marketing subnet, I think there's lots of room here, because what you're looking at is incentive alignment between brands who ultimately struggle sometimes to find legitimate content creators, and giving them an incentive mechanism that pays out creators based on engagement and views that is tracked and monitored in real time. So brands are getting what they pay for. Creators or miners, in the case of the Bitcast subnet, are getting rewarded in TAO for creating that content and bringing views and engagement to the brands. And Bitcast was able to generate revenue within 1 month of launching. They were able to get other subnets involved, subnets who were paying them to actually advertise and promote the other subnets in the ecosystem as well. And so they were able to generate revenue from month one. And this subnet is very young. It's less than 2 months old. You can check out the price history on the chart here. $742,000 in market cap. I do think it's very undervalued. Again, not financial advice, guys. Check it out for yourself. Those are my 3 undervalued subnets for this particular video. That is it for today's video, guys. Again, hopefully you found some value in those subnet gems that I shared today. Let me know down below in the comments, are you holding any other subnet tokens that you think are undervalued? I want to hear which subnet alpha tokens you have exposure to, which ones you think I should take a look at next. I will do a review on whichever subnet alpha token gets the most votes in the comments below this video. So drop a comment down below. As always, if you got any value, please make sure to drop a thumbs up on the video, hit subscribe, hit that bell notification icon, and don't forget to grab your completely free copy of The Rise of Bitcoin, linked below in the video description. Grab it now, and we'll catch you in the next one.